chapter was about cycles, a lot of cycles. Went to do some backtesting on these things, and yeah, well, I think it's actually quite true, but the way he, or like the book generalizes things, uh, it was just busy talking about cycles, and he's like, yeah, but cycles do change over the years. Like, yeah, sure, but is it really a cycle? Because it can speed up or slow down, but yeah, I'm not sure, because this one seems quite consistent to me. And this is one of the first statistics cycle thingies he throws at you. And I've actually looked at the book, but the way it is generalized basically is this is what the book does, or like where he gets this data from. So this is the raw data, and you might see some trends already going over here. He will smooth out the data and the trend itself, and now we'll basically take out all the troughs and all the peaks and basically align them. So that's how he gets these values. So these one could definitely won't look like these ones, right? It definitely won't. So yeah, that's basically how he gets the data, and these ones are a bunch of different statistics on a base of 18 to 2-year cycle, and I actually tried them on the marriage one. It's really ugly, I know, but I took the marriages of the USA just like this one is doing, and it's the 18.5-year cycle. So this should be more than one full cycle. And I think if you generalize it, because this is just raw data, you can already see, of course, an uptrend, but not really any form of downtrend here. So uptrend, downtrend, and this uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. So I guess that's true, but basically what you'll see is it has one trough in 20 years, basically. So this should have one trough and one peak, right? So I guess this pretty much it, but that means it's 16 years only. And this is it's really ugly, but this is basically if the trend would have continued. You can see there's already a big gap here, because you can move this one to the right side, but then it's literally overlapping like with 6 years from the different timeline. So yeah, but on average, if you smooth it out and stuff, I wasn't sure how he did this, who did that. It is one indeed. This is the bottom. Or like this is the peak, and here's another peak with this being the trough. I guess that's true, but it's really, yeah, I'm not sure. So that's a lot of stuff. So what happens? Basically, this is what's happening. One cycle, that means basically from trough to trough, and the trough is the bottom of it, or like a crest, the top. I like bottom and top more because it's just easier to mention, but crest and trough also seem like a cool thing. But basically, that's one full cycle, right? This was one more statistic from the book which I wanted to mention, because this is the data he is seeing, and as you can see, indeed, I guess you can call this a trough, or this a crest, this a trough, but it just seems, yeah, I don't know. It seems just more like I guess it's a wave, but the way this one is generalized, it's kind of yeah, I guess it's true, but I'm not sure, But yeah, a wave consists of different things. I have multiple things here. You had harmonicity, synchronicity, and there was one more, but I'll get back on it in a second. So basically, you can have waves. So in case of this one synchronizes perfectly with being the trough ends up at the trough most of the time, or like the bottom one is of course going to be perfect, as you can see, trough and then another trough. And of course, because this is 2 times as fast, you will have it on the top of wave A and the bottom of wave B forming. But basically, these are the different things that can happen through a cycle or a wave. And another cool thing here was you can basically sort of see a head and shoulders forming. Yeah, this is just another one which is going to be the sum of 2 waves. So you can see this one is a clear, what is it, like 10 years? No, there's actually not a time variable here, but I don't know how many years, but it's clearly faster than wave B, or slower than wave B. And added together, you get a stronger trough and sort of a double crest. Even though there's only one crest, this one takes it down. So there's multiple, how do you call it, cycles actually. So the longest one is the seasonal cycle, which most of the time happens within a year because it's seasonal. Let's say soybeans get harvested, then and from that point on, prices will rise because people tough one of my soybeans, the demand, sorry. And you have a primary cycle. Yeah, they can divide it up to two things. Trading cycles 4 weeks, I believe, and then you have alpha and beta cycle, which is going to be 2 weeks each, and most of the time it's up, down, and of course the last one you have the price activity. Here is it is again. So basically what it's saying, so goes over same text as here. Hey, my headset had a bit of a malfunction, so I had to start recording again. But basically you have long-term cycles, which are 2 or more years. Then you move on to the seasonal cycle, which is 1 year. Within the seasonal cycle, there is a primary and intermediate cycle, which is going to be 9 to 26 weeks. There's also a trading cycle of 4 weeks, and like I said, the trading cycle contains 2 shorter waves, which are alpha and beta cycles, averaging about 2 weeks each. Alpha most of the time being the uptrend, beta being the downtrend. There's actually 4 ones he also mentioned, which are pretty, yeah, I'm not sure. They just sounded funny in my opinion, but those ones are not in the classification of cycles. Basically, the longest one is actually it's not on here, but you'll write it like this. It's the Kondratiev, I believe. But basically, this one is, I believe it was 54 years based on the S&P, and I tried looking it up, and he just showed us some examples of the Kondratiev. I'm not sure if it's here, but I know this is Ehrlich. But basically, you have the Kondratiev, and then there's also an Ehrlich cycle, and this is basically software which finds a cycle. So it's really old. The website still exists, which is pretty funny. But this one found, I think it's like a monthly cycle almost for the Hindu daily, I guess. But basically, what it shows here. So this one is this is a presidential cycle. I think this one is Ehrlich. He showed a bunch of different examples of how Ehrlich would determine like a trend. So this one is 6.25 years based off on the trots, because the trots are always more important than the crests. And he just showed a bunch of examples of how these things happen. This one is seasonal. Can also happen, or this was crude oil seasonal. And this one is another seasonal, but the Ehrlich just basically finds itself its own cycle. There wasn't actually an example on TradingView, and I was thinking about coding it, but I think it's going to take quite a while. So not yet, at least. Then there's a commodity cycle, which was 28 days for commodities. Then there's, that's pretty much it for the cycles. Seasonal cycle, already went over it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much more. Oh yeah, this one could be fun. So this is talking about the right and the left translation. So basically, it's a bull market whenever the trend is actually exceeding the cycle, so going longer than the expected cycle, and bottoming after that. And it's bearish when the cycle actually is already in a decreasing manner, when the simple cycle should still be on its crest, right? So that's it's sort of like peaking and bottoming, sort of. So yeah, that's pretty much it.